Alright, so I'm planning to do a more in-depth video detailing all the steps it took to get me to this incarnation of the pedal board, but this is not completely done just yet. After I got it all together, wired everything up, and made it all neat and nice, I discovered that I wasn't getting quite enough current to power everything from the single one-spot Pro CS6 that's mounted underneath the board. The digital stuff was all powered up fine and working, but the analog pedals, I was getting a weird kind of a unwanted clipping or distortion, which wasn't from the distortion pedal itself. And I ended up powering just the analog pedals with another one spot, the kind of wall wart style, and the problem went away. I think I just didn't have quite enough current for everything. So I need to either get a second CS6 or maybe mount the other wall wart style one spot underneath the board. I've drilled out the original rivets on the 3 front feet, put 3 washers on top of each one, and then re-riveted them in place. And that just lifts it up enough to fit the CS6 underneath. Wouldn't fit in the back row here because I've got the 2 ML5s from Morningstar Engineering. Okay, so the way this thing's routed, it goes into the exotic wah, out from there into the input of the Boss MS3. And inside the MS3, it's going to hit the tuner if it's engaged, and the noise gate detector. So that noise gate's getting the clean signal from the guitar, or indeed coming from the wah if it's engaged, to give it the instructions to open or close the gate. However, the actual gate is farther down in the chain. So after the input, it goes out loop 1 into the ML5, which has 5 things in it. MXR Carbon Copy Deluxe, which is set up as a single repeat dotted 8th note delay for a special kind of a arpeggiator-esque trick that I like to do, which I will show you in a moment. And then it goes into the Octaver OC2, the FX25 DoD envelope filter, the 1974 reissue modified by Analog Man to have an LED and a power jack and true bypass switching, Phase 90 script logo, MXR. Then into this GE7, which is generally always on, and I just use it to sort of compensate for the differences in guitars. So a really bright guitar, I might even turn it off. A real bassy guitar, I'll cut. I generally like to add some treble before any distortion to add more clarity and attack to the notes. Or I like to cut lows sometimes if I'm playing a rosewood fretboard mahogany body guitar or something like that, just to kind of add some clarity. I have it last in that chain though, because this OC2 seems to track better the more low frequencies it gets, and the less high frequencies it gets, it seems to follow the notes a little bit better. After loop 1, then it goes into the compression sustainer modified by me, but it's the Fromel mod kit. Loop 3 is this power stack, which is my main distorted sound. And I may use some internal effects on here from time to time, and I'll get into that in a bit. But out from here, it goes into the Moore radar, and I've dialed in a preset on here using a 1960 AG. I think that's the angled with greenbacks. I think that might be what that's supposed to be, like the top cabinet from a Marshall 1960. G, I'm assuming, is greenbacks, but I'm not sure. And it's got, I have it set up with a 6L6 power amp, so sort of a tighter response power amp. But I do have the input to that cranked so you really hear the tubes, the virtual tubes of the power amp. And I am using the EQ on there as well to really shape the sound. But I always leave it on just that one preset. From there, it goes into the second ML5. And you've got the analog version of the Chorus Ensemble, CE5, the older version, pink label, into the Analog Man modified TR2 tremolo, then into this Mosky Deck or Des, which is just clean boost. And then it goes into the boost delay for my echo. I have that set to quarter note. And then there's a special cable which splits the signal on the send to this loop so that I don't connect the output of the delay back into the loop. I connect that out to the mixer. Same thing with this reverb. It's got one of those special cables, and it as well, the output goes to the mixer in stereo by TRS. And then the output of this is just routed up to this box, which goes to the mixer. So on my mixer, I've got 3 inputs. The output from all the pedals, except for reverb and delay and this reverb. And then I've got the delay, and then I've got the reverb on a stereo input channel. This allows me for parallel delay and reverb, so I'm not running one into the other. They're separate, which is how I prefer it for sound. It gets like less muddied. And it also means that I'll get trails or tails or spillover because the outputs of this reverb and this delay are always connected to the mixer. In the future, I want to incorporate some sort of small stereo mixer onto the pedal board itself and then just run a stereo out into the audio interface from there. Let's check out a few of these sounds I've got going. I am working on a tune that kind of showcases this board, or at least it's the first thing I've done with this board. But I'm not quite done composing that and practicing the stuff. I always write things I can't play and then I have to figure out how to play them. The first sound uses the carbon copy, a tap tempo delay again set for dotted eighth notes, single repeat equal volume, and the phase 90, a compressor, and some reverb. Let me turn off the carbon copy to demonstrate what it does. We get tempo. Kind of like maybe an arpeggiator or something like that. You hear this a lot on, I think it's Moonchild in the intro by Maiden. One of my favorite guitarists, Larry Mitchell, uses a similar preset on one of his tunes. Yngwie talks about it in his classic REH video. I push that button, it sounds like this.
And if I push that button, it sounds like this.
Tony McAlpine on Stream Dream. So it's it puts notes in between the notes you're playing. But it's not really a U to the edge style dotted eighth, because I'm doing it more for like lead passages or kind of that would sound like synth. So anyway, that's the first sound I'm using. The second sound is the compressor, the chorus, and reverb, and always this EQ is on. And also I have the boost engaged because I felt that with the mix of the song and everything, this preset was a little too quiet without it. Obviously, if you're just tracking it part by part, you just mix it. But because I'm trying to do like a live playthrough of the song, once it's done, I have the levels kind of set. So this is just... chorusy, you know, real clean, and I have the chorus kind of dialed in a little bit subtle, I think. Turn it off. No chorus. Chorus. And then next is the envelope filter with compressor. And then this is my kind of lead sound. It's got a little bit going on inside of the MS3. So it does have the EQ, And then inside the MS3, it goes to a compressor, which has different settings. This CS3 I mainly use kind of like my clean channel preamp. For the volume of the cleans, I adjust the output volume of that. For the tone, I adjust the tone on that. So I didn't want to use it as a compressor before distortion. So I've got a compressor on here. I've also got a reverb. Now normally I don't like using the reverbs on the MS3. For one, they don't spill over when you change presets. And also I just don't think they sound that great for the big lush sounds. But I'm using this reverb more, it's a room reverb set very short. So it's more to emulate sort of some air that you would get if you're miking a cabinet. I found that direct recording without just that little touch of reverb, it sounded like more like a direct recording. Now obviously in your DAW you could add it later, but I'm trying to get everything from the Pedalboard so I can just kind of do a live playthrough. As you can hear, there's also a delay. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a high-end roll-off and also some tape drift. So the delays kind of go in and out of tune a bit, set up on this Tech 21 boost delay. And of course the boost, it's a little bit louder than a rhythm guitar sound.